You are now listening to WBPPR, Big Pretty Public Radio. The following program has been brought to you by Inferior Interiors. You could hire us to decorate your home, but we think you should probably find someone else. And this message from the COVID Cowboy.
This aisle ain't big enough for the both of us. Keep a safe distance of 6 paces between yourself and others.
This has been a message from the COVID Cowboy.
Delightful. And now, an evening with the authors. I am your host, Dana Glass. Hello and welcome once again, loyal listeners, to this, a video edition of our program. I am happy to be coming to you from inside of my apartment. I hope that you've been doing well. I have been doing as good as can be expected. My roommate and I have been having some issues, as will happen when stuck in close quarters, and evidently I picked up the wrong food yesterday, and she has not let me hear the end of it. Actually, here she is now. Let's see if she would like to say hello. Say hello to the loyal listeners, Garp. Hello, my name is Garp. Hello. She really got me pretty good there. Oh boy, alright. As I was saying, this edition will be in video format in place of our regular show live from the White Rabbit Cabaret in Indianapolis, Indiana, on the first Tuesday of every month. We would still like you to support the White Rabbit Cabaret and its wonderful employees. You can donate throughout this program and anytime you like by going to their Venmo, which is Venmo at White Rabbit Cabaret. Donate and get those servers and bartenders and doormen the money they so desperately need during these trying times. Let's get into the show, shall we? Most of you probably know our first author as the guy from the Howard Stern show who got breast implants in his butt on a dare. Here to read his new tell-all book about his celebrity encounters is Jeremy Ass Tits Lawrence.
Prologue. The Invitation. I was awoken at the crack of 2 p.m. by a phone call from an unknown number. Normally I wouldn't answer, but I had recently made friends with Las Vegas magician, The Unknown, and he was supposed to be hooking me up with a guy he knows who sells chimpanzees, no questions asked. "Hey, Jeremy," said a familiar voice. "It's me, Andy Dick. We met on the Howard Stern show last week. I was the guy who snorted cocaine off your butt boobs. I was also on news radio." "Yeah, Andy," I said. "I remember that." "It must be nice," he laughed. "Anyway, I'm calling you because I'm going to Celebrity Orgy later today, and I was wondering if you'd want to be my guest." Really? I couldn't believe it. I'd been invited to a lot of freaky stuff since getting the implants, but this was the first celebrity sex party. "Yeah," shouted Andy Dick. "It's our annual Hollywood Freak Fest, and I just know with you and your weird ass titties, I'll be a shoo-in for King Freak." I suddenly understood what was happening. I've seen Dinner for Schmucks. He wanted to bring me there just so all his rich friends could ogle my weird butt. Well, guess what? You don't get breast implants in your butt if you don't want people to ogle them. "When and where?" I asked Andy Dick. Chapter 1, The Arrival. I drove for nearly an hour into the hills of West Hollywood before finally arriving at the gates of an enormous palatial mansion. The gates were emblazoned with the letters RR. I punched in the gate code Andy had given me, 696969. The gate swung open, and I pulled up to the front of the house where a completely naked man in his 60s waited, holding a beach towel. He walked over and opened the door to my 97 Dodge Neon. "Welcome," he said as I got out, and then he held his hand out. Oh shit, I thought. Am I supposed to tip butlers? I didn't think to bring any cash to an orgy. "Your keys, sir," he said. Oh, he's a valet. A completely naked valet. As if in response to my hesitation, he draped his beach towel over the driver's seat. "Okay," I shrugged. I gave him the keys. I suppose I'd better lighten up if I was going to enjoy this. A different, completely naked man with a leash on his penis opened the front door to the mansion and showed me in. "Everyone is gathered in the fuckatorium," he said, motioning to the door to his left. "However, Mr. Romano requests that all his guests take a thorough shower before joining the activities." He then showed me to a pristine bathroom, stocked with expensive-looking shampoos and body washes, and left me alone. Thank fucking God, I thought. As anyone who's heard my Howard Stern appearances knows, the implants make my butt sweat profusely, so I was relieved to wash myself after sitting through that long drive. Like, I wasn't planning on asking anyone to motorboat my keister cleavage, but I sure was hoping someone would. I thoroughly scrubbed myself down, and when I left the shower, I found my clothes had been taken and replaced with a clean robe. I put it on and wandered into the rest of the house. I found my way back to the fuckatorium and paused to collect myself before going in. "First time?" said a voice behind me. I turned around and to find myself face to face with none other than Tara freaking Reid. I was so starstruck, I could barely talk. "Yeah, how about you? Do you get invited to a lot of these things?" Tara laughed. "Oh, I wasn't invited. Kerry Washington brought me as her guest. I'm just happy to be a part of it." The sadness of it all caught me off guard, and we stood in silence for a minute. Mercifully at that time, Andy Dick popped out of the fuckatorium, wearing only socks, a belt, and what appeared to be a serving dish as a hat. He saw me standing there awkwardly and shouted, "Jeremy!" for way too long. "I'm so glad you made it." He scurried behind me and began rhythmically spanking my bum bust and singing a slightly offensive fake Hawaiian song. "Why are you farting around out here? I've been telling everyone about those fanny flappers. Now come on in and let me show you off." He and Tara Reid locked eyes for a second. I could tell there was no love lost between them. "Andy," she said curtly. "Tara," he said back emotionless. Then he grabbed me by a cheek tit and led me into the fuckatorium. Chapter 3. The Fuckatorium. "Hey, everyone!" Andy shouted as we walked into the room, but no one seemed to pay attention. I assume anyone who's spent any time around Andy Dick has just learned to ignore his constant yelling. It was a massive ballroom, and in the middle there were about a dozen mattresses all pushed together. And on the mattresses was a giant wad of writhing and moaning flesh. I could make out a few familiar faces. Richard Gere and Simon Cowell were high-fiving while double-teaming one of those wolf boys with all the hair on their face. Mary Berry from Bake Off was riding around on a saddle on Carla Gugino's back and whipping her with a whisk. Stellan Skarsgård was getting pegged by Leslie Jones, while Gordon Ramsay shouted about how she was doing it all wrong. Against one side of the room, there were chairs filled with folks who were either just watching and jerking or seemingly not interested at all. The cast of Pawn Stars were there, all sharing one blanket that was constantly moving. A pair of conjoined twins attached to the head just giggled and took Polaroids. Kerry Washington was doing a Sudoku. On the other side was what remained of a snack table. There was a small plate of cookies and some mini cupcakes that were undisturbed, but the Benedictine sandwiches, cocktail shrimp, and charcuterie plate had all been dumped over and covered in cocktail sauce. I immediately knew Andy Dick had done this. "This is the guy I was talking about," Andy shouted and waved over to a group of people, most of whom I recognized but didn't know their names. Flo from those Progressive ads walked over and crouched down to get a good look at my butt boobs. "These nipples work?" she asked while tugging at one. "I doubt they make milk if that's what you're asking. laughed that guy who played Drew Carey's brother. I think he was just asking if they get hard, said the guard from Shawshank, who's also the voice of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. No, I admitted, they're just tattooed on. Ah, said the fat kid from Old School. They don't get hard and they're just for decoration. Like Andy Dick's penis. They all had a good laugh about that. Foggy Nelson from Daredevil looked like he was about to say something, but Andy Dick interrupted and shouted, "Hey, let's do some drugs already." Finally. I wasn't going to be that guy, but I sort of assumed there would be drugs at an orgy. Oh, and what drugs? Andy pulled a large coin purse out of his asshole and dumped the contents onto the snack table. Cocaine, Molly, LSD, DMNT, even some of that blue meth from Breaking Bad. Apparently it's real. At last my inhibitions disappeared and I climbed onto the mattresses to join the flesh pile. Now this is where my memory gets a little hazy. I do remember at one point I was in a butt-eating daisy chain with Daryl Hannah, Joe Rogan, Carrie Elways, Frankie Muniz, and that guy who's all covered in puzzle piece tattoos. I also remember going to the bathroom in the middle of it and seeing Fairuza Balk and Brian Doyle Murphy sitting on the toilet together, spider style, like facing each other. So I just peed in the sink. And while I'm not 100% sure it wasn't a hallucination, I'm pretty sure I was spit roasted by Dean Cain and the guy who dresses up like Batman on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Anyway, I sobered up pretty quickly once a blood-covered Andy Dick kicked open the door, pulled John. Anyway, I sobered up pretty quickly once a blood-covered Andy Dick kicked open the door, pulled John Hamm out of me, and started screaming, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! We have to leave right now!" Before I could ask follow-up questions, he dragged me outside to my car and pulled a surprisingly not small gun out of his ass. He pointed it at me and forced me to drive him to a veterinary clinic a few miles away. Once there, he leaned over, gave me a kiss on the mouth, and hopped out. "Don't be a stranger," he shouted to me in my rearview mirror, still naked and covered in blood. Epilogue. The next day. I woke up the next day feeling hungover and turned inside out. My phone was ringing again. It was Andy. Reluctantly, I answered. "Hey, it's Andy Dick from News Radio." "Yeah, I remember." "Haha, must be nice. Anyway, listen, you passed the test orgy. When you're ready for the real thing, just let me know." Anyway, that's just one of the many stories you'll find in my new book, Ass Titties, Favorite Orgy Stories and Low-Fat Cookie Recipes, coming to a bookstore nationwide in June.
I would say that was as to be expected from Mr. Jeremy Ass Tits Lawrence. Your next author is a Broadway star who has played both the baker's wife and the witch in Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods. I'm sorry, no, I misread that. She's a future Broadway star who was supposed to play those roles simultaneously due to lack of student actors in her school's spring musical. However, due to the musical being canceled for obvious reasons, she has chosen to write a book. Here to read Big Fish in a Small Pond, we have Violet Komansky.
5, 6, 7, 8. Hi! My name is Violet Komansky, and as Dana said, yes, I am a high school senior. You might be wondering, Violet, why are you here? Why have you written a book? If you're a senior, shouldn't you be getting ready for college? Yes, I should. Unfortunately, none of my chosen university's theater programs have accepted me yet. So I was planning on using the tape of my school spring musical as a last-ditch audition effort, and that, along with school, has been canceled. So I can't do that. And all of the tapes for my previous shows were destroyed in a pretty tragic chandelier accident in our school's opera house. So yeah, when I saw Dana post about this show on Backstage.com, which is my homepage, I thought, you know, what the hell, oh Dolly, let's give it a shot. So I did write a book, as is required, and here it is. It's you know, it's part memoir, part resume, mostly audition, and the title, as Dana said, is Big Fish in a Small Pond. However, there is a longer title, Big Fish in a Small Pond, Confessions of the Female Lead in Every Show in a School of 150, where most of the ensemble is athletes on academic probation, but we really need them due to the disproportionate ratio of male to female roles in every single Broadway show. And I am off book at this point, so let's begin. Chapter 1. It's a hard knock life for a theater kid. If you expect to be a top-notch theater kid, you're gonna have to put in the work. That's right, I'm talking voice lessons, acting lessons, ballet until you realize it's too difficult, jazz after you've quit ballet, because most of what you do in musical theater is jazz, and then also tap lessons when your community theater announces they'll be doing Thoroughly Modern Millie in the fall. Either way, it's gonna take up a lot of time. I am talking days, hours, months, years, maybe even 525,600 minutes. 525,000 minutes of dance, 525,600 jazz squares. How do you measure the life of a teenage theater star? In monologues, in arias, in cast parties full of makeouts, in blocking, in mic tape stuck to my skin. In 525,600 minutes, it's the reason I don't know how to play sports. And scene. I mean, end of chapter. Chapter 2. God, I hope I get it, because that freshman has not paid her dues. Now, to really be impressive, you want to diversify your portfolio. Play a wide variety of characters, different styles of roles maybe. And you know, everybody has to start somewhere. Maybe that somewhere is Rydell High cheerleader number 2. Even though you auditioned for Frenchie and the only reason you didn't get it is definitely because of politics. It doesn't matter, because even small roles can allow you to showcase your talents. Remember, there are no small roles, only small actors. Don't be a small actor. Even if you didn't get the role that you wanted, just play it bigger. Just go that extra step. Go that extra mile. Take it upon yourself to open rehearsal and seize the day. Sing warm-ups loudly and seize the day. Don't let them stop you, 'cause they don't get paid to. So add your own choreo and hope for a better role next year. There is always next year. You can hope they do Les Mis. You could play a French whore. If you find out they're doing Damn Yankees again, then worst case, you can always switch schools. That is what I did. Yes, I did end up switching to a much smaller local Catholic school, and that school is called Sister Maria's. Now I get more roles because I am at a small school, Sister Maria's. Here are all the roles that I have had at my small school. Amy and Little Women, Kim and Bye Bye Birdie, Mimi in A Problematic Rent. Also, I mostly just danced, and I played Annie's dog, Sandy. It was a very busy junior year, I will tell you that. Okay, chapter next. making friends. Yes, so as a theater kid, you will mostly be spending your time in rehearsals with other theater kids. So they will pretty much be your only friends. Now, theater kids are loud, dramatic, opinionated. Could it get any better? No, they're just like you. You might be thinking, Violet, I have other friends and they don't do theater. I'll probably still stay friends with them once I start doing theater. No, you will not. You definitely will not. Here's the reason for that. For some reason, and I don't know why, theater kids are not popular. You'll never be popular. And that's the end of the chapter. So, all right, next chapter. Having a backup plan. Now, obviously, I will have no problems becoming a Broadway star. And it's pretty likely that I will be asked to join the next national tour of Hamilton, but my guidance counselor did tell me I needed to have a backup plan just in case. And that is why I have decided to get a minor in creative writing so that I can definitely get a job after college. You also should have a backup plan, mostly so that way when your parents' friends ask them about you, they don't have to say the words theater major. I know my parents personally hate that. So it doesn't matter what your backup plan is. Any job will do, and any location. Maybe your backup plan is Pittsburgh. Maybe your backup plan is Chicago. Just whenever people ask about it, say something like, I have a plan. Oh yes, a plan. I've had a plan all along. I'm gonna do it. I'll really do it. I will totally get a job. Waiter, server, trainer, nanny, drama teacher. That's when I had my mental breakdown. Right there in cell block 5. On cue to show my rage. And yes, I could cry on command. All right, before I wrap up my book reading, I just want to say one thing more. Another chance for me to make my plea before your theater program rejects me. I promise I will do my best. I'll even help with building sets. One thing more, I do not have a backup plan. That chapter of the book was lying. One thing more, I'll just keep sending you these tapes until you wish you never met me. One thing more I must tell you, listen closely to this part. My parents have so much money, they could donate to your school. I noticed you need a new marquee. We could get you that marquee, but you have to let me in. And finale! Oh wait, I'm out of... Okay, thank you.
Quite the exuberant youth there. Reminds me of myself when I was young, if I had passion, and was not terrified of putting myself out there. At this time, loyal listeners, I would like to remind you once again to donate to the staff of the White Rabbit Cabaret. We here at Big Pretty Public Radio would normally be begging and harassing you for donations to keep our programs on the air, but tonight I thought, why not spread it around just a little bit to those who have taken such good care of us. Up next is Rob Lynch. He is the new CEO and president of Papa John's Pizza, but was formerly the president of Arby's, who turned the company around with the We Have the Meats campaign. And now he will be presenting something for us.
Good evening. Thank you all for taking a few minutes out of your busy Netflix schedules to hear what I have to say tonight. I know we're all struggling right now in the wake of the disruption and havoc the coronavirus has wreaked on our country and on our communities. But never fear, your new Papa, Papa Rob, is here. And I'd like to share some of our new business initiatives and policies with you as we work through this difficult time together. You know, when I was brought in last August to replace John Schotter, things were rough. He'd left a big mess for me to clean up, and I'm not just talking about the trail of zesty burger sauce he left at our corporate offices. John's lack of leadership and irresponsible behavior was destroying the business. He didn't deserve the title of Papa anymore, and he certainly didn't deserve to be the president of the company, even if he did found it. John was a man of dough, flabby, weak, and collapsing under pressure. Whereas I am a man of meat, raw, tough, hard to digest, and I've been ripping the insides of this company apart to build them back up again into something solid, just like I did at Arby's. And we've made some good progress. We got Shack. We introduced 2 new menu items, the garlic parmesan crust and the papadilla, and there's been a surge in profits as a result, even though some people said that my idea of just folding the dough over like a half-assed cootie catcher and stuffing it with meat would never work. That's what they said about the gyros at Arby's too. Newsflash, sandwiches never lose. Then the virus hit, just as we were gearing up for our new spring menu rollout and corporate barbecue. It was a new tradition I planned to introduce at the company this year, featuring a chili cook-off with some of the boys at Arby's. It was canceled. As you know, we took the appropriate steps based on CDC recommendations. No contact delivery, heightened cleaning procedures. But we need to do more. We're going to start by taking our motto, better ingredients, better pizza, and applying it directly to our workforce. We want to guarantee in this time of uncertainty that you're getting better people too. First off, we're making sure that all of our employees have had their shots. Now, I know a vaccine hasn't been created yet. Let me explain. Starting immediately, every Papa John's employee will be taking mandatory garlic sauce shots for strengthened immunity. No exceptions. I've already been doing it for several years. Shaq's doing it. You're all gonna do it, 3 times a shift. And we'll be sending you home with a couple extra for the family just in case. Nobody's gonna get sick on this Papa's watch. Delicious. Now I know some people are worried about potential losses, about cuts. The only cuts you'll see are going straight to our hardworking staff, as we've mandated a protein-only diet in the form of cold cuts at every franchise location. A protein-only diet means a leaner, more energized workforce. Not only was John's 40 pizzas in 30 days employee challenge unhealthy, it also significantly slowed productivity. That man is a clown and a disgrace. I cannot emphasize that enough. We've all been making sacrifices. I won't be going to Morocco this year for the Popabilities Conference. Shaq has postponed the launch of his pizza-themed escape room, Emergencies, indefinitely. But we have to do what's right for the world and for our Papa John's family. Each and every one of you is my son now. So, be well, work hard, and make Papa proud.
That man exudes confidence, and for that I am jealous and feel I should listen to what he says. Before we move on to our next author, how about another word from the COVID cowboy?
Keep it under wraps. If you gotta leave camp for supplies, Cover your face if you can.
This has been a message from the COVID Cowboy.
I cannot get enough of that COVID cowboy. Just wonderful. Best-selling self-help author and relationship guru Mindy McKinley has written her first erotic novel. It chronicles her unexpected affair with a beloved Kentucky governor during a global pandemic. Here to read, Love in the Time of Corona, How Governor Andy Beshear Flattened the Curve by Flattening My Back. Please welcome Mindy McKinley.
Love in the Time of Corona, How Andy Beshear Flattened the Curve by Flattening My Back. Alternate title, 50 Shades of Bluegrass. Wherever there are rules and regulations, there will always be people's insatiable desire to break those rules. This dystopian version of the Roaring Twenties has given rise to this twisted brand of illegal speakeasy establishments, and also to concerned citizens turned vigilante who are trying to stop them. Governor Andy Beshear can shut down the Pike County Bingo Hall, but he can't be everywhere. That's where I come in, Mindy McKinley. So I sit outside of the Golden Corral on Dixie Highway. It's seemingly closed, but I notice a consistent stream of oversized pickup trucks and rusted out Mustangs slowly driving around the back behind the dumpsters. I know I'm in the right place, but I need a disguise. So I put on my Trump can grab my pussy anytime sweatshirt. It always works. I approach the service door around the back of the Golden Corral. I knock. A man who could only be named Randy opens the door. We're closed. He dismisses me. I have to think quickly. There must be a password. If global warming is real, then why is it still cold sometimes? He lets me in. I've guessed the password correctly. So I follow the dark hallway down into the basement, and the grunts are getting louder and louder as I approach. I slide back the plastic tarp, and there it is, the motherlode of COVID-19 deniers and conspiracy theorists. And there, in the center of the room, is an endlessly long banquet, the unmistakable sight of a Golden Corral buffet. It's filled, as far as the eye could see, with room temperature meats and fried seafood and mayonnaise-based salads. These people are ravenous. They're using their bare hands to scoop out globs of pudding and clam chowder just to laugh in the face of the virus. Ha ha ha! The Democrats made it up. They've removed all the sneeze guards because in this society, there's no more need for pretense. They laugh, feed each other with their hands. The whole thing is like a modern day version of Fight Club. But this isn't Fight Club. This is Bite Club. And the first rule of Bite Club is you don't talk about Bite Club. You don't talk about Bite Club because your mouth is full of, fried chicken skins. So you can't talk about Bite Club. Anyway, I try to camouflage myself with all the camouflage around me. There's a contest going on to see who can pull out the biggest piece of crab meat using only their teeth. The winner gets to lick the butter off the guy with the fattest thumb. It's chaos. I've seen all I need to see. It's time to make a swift exit. How will I get out of here without looking suspicious? I mean, they're going to notice me if I don't partake in the hand buffet. Aha, I've got it. I approach the bouncer, Randy, and I tell him that I need to take a huge dump and I need to use 3 whole rolls of toilet paper to wipe before I start eating. Then I look in his eyes and say, you know, to make room. He gets it. He nods and lets me pass. I get in my car and I call the governor's hotline immediately. The next day at 5 p.m. on the dot, Governor Beshear goes live and he lets the public know that he's shut down the illegal feeding troughs at the Dixie Highway Golden Corral. I've done it. And he issues a stern warning to any other establishments doing the same. We'll find you and we'll punish you. I eat my frozen quarantine dinner and turn in early that night. Sweet dreams, my governor. The next day, I get a phone call and it says Frankfort, Kentucky. A telemarketer, I think. But social distancing has left me so very lonely, I pick up just for the hell of it. Hello, this is Angela in the office of Governor Andy Beshear. Is this Mindy McKinley? Yes, I say. I'm so nervous. Wonderful. The governor would like to personally thank you for helping take down the Golden Corral open buffet ring. Are you available to video chat tomorrow? I had to think quick on my feet. No, I have to come to there. Nailed it. No, ma'am. We're limiting in-person meetings to reduce the spread of illness. I start bargaining with her. What if I told you I could provide physical evidence of no less than 4 other illegal feeding businesses? She pauses. Can you be here tomorrow at 6 p.m.? I smile. With bails on. I arrive at the governor's office and I'm escorted down the long, elegant hallway that once smelled of Matt Bevan's self-tanner and Axe body spray and teeth bleach. But now it smells of dignity and compassion and decisive leadership. I'm briefed about keeping my distance from the governor and not touching anything. Of course I understand, I say. I understand everything. I step inside, and there he is. He stands from behind his large desk, and he smiles to greet me. He's tall, pale, relatively hairless. His classic blue button-up is all starched, but the sleeves are pushed up at the elbow. He's a working man. Welcome, Mrs. McKinley. Thank you so much for coming. Ms. McKinley. Pardon me? It's Ms. McKinley. I've never been married. Not yet, anyway. He stumbles slightly. Pardon me, Ms. McKinley. Yes, Citizen McKinley, Ms. Constituent. We don't have a lot of time. Let's get down to brass tacks. I'm paralyzed by his nobility. I've never felt more cared for, more in service of, more governed by anyone in my entire life. I can't control myself. I just blurt out, yes, let's. I cannot wait to get down to it with you. He clears his throat, tugs at his collar. Ms. McKinley, first I want to thank you for your service to the state. But all I can think is that I want him to service this state. I'm talking about my pussy. I'm talking about my pussy, guys. I'm so sorry. Get your kids out of the room. I'm talking about my pussy. He continues. But there's a lot more people gathering and not following guidelines. And I want you to help me bust them up. My mind is racing. Oh, I can help you bust all right. I think to myself, Jesus, Mindy, get it together. This is your governor. Spit in my mouth, governor. But I have to pull it together. His eyes are locked on mine. And I realize that I'm standing 6 feet from this man, as is prescribed. And looking into his wholesome soul is the single most erotic moment of my entire life. My breath quickens. And for a moment, I'm worried that the virus has taken me. Then I realize it's just the overwhelming thought of the man in front of me, taking me, that's got me so choked up, if you will. I've always tried to uphold the pillars of social distancing. Always tried to be a good citizen like he told me. But now, here, in this room, for the first time, I want to touch stuff. I want to touch all of Andy Beshear's stuff. He continues, before we look at your evidence, let's wash our hands. He warmly directs me over to the sink. Be sure and wash the full CDC recommended amount of time, Miss McKinley. Oh, yes. I always sing happy birthday. While I do it, I start to slowly soap my hands. Happy birthday to you. I look at him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Governor. Happy birthday to you. Without even thinking, I just go in for the kiss. He steps back. No, Miss Constituent. We can't. It's a matter of public health. Oh my God, you're right. You're right, Governor. I'm so sorry. You're right. God, I'm mortified. How could I sexualize this wonderful public servant? I feel so guilty. He looks at me deeply. We cannot touch. Miss McKinley, I need you to understand. We cannot touch. But if we could, I'd probably say something like, it's business time. And this business will definitely be essential. He points at his penis. Essential business. Oh my God, he's into it. He's into it. It's my turn. I have to come up with something. Okay, I nod. Yes, Governor. I shaved my pubes before I came here because I want to be sheared. I point to my vagina. He gulps Yes, here's one job you won't get sent home from. He points to his penis. I have to keep going. The only CDC I care about right now is the one that stands for, I wanna, see that cock. I point to his penis. We keep going. I know we're not supposed to be doing international travel right now, but what's gonna happen to you is gonna be out of this world. He points to his penis anyway. We're just doing it at this point. We don't know what we're pointing at. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready, Governor. And I'm wearing the recommended PPE. And I lift up my dress to reveal to him that I'm wearing a face mask over my pussy. Yeah. And then I say to him, do you have protection? He unzips his pants to reveal to me that he has a rubber glove on his penis. He says, this is one of those flavored gloves that you get in a vending machine at a gas station bathroom. No love without a glove, I say breathily. I'm going to test your limits, he says. And this test will be readily available. I know we can't high five, I say. But there is one thing I want you to clap. These cheeks. Keep going. He pulls out a small bottle. Is it lube? Is this really happening? But then he squirts some out and starts rubbing it into his hands. It's the undeniable scent of Purell in the air. Then I think about how careful he's being. And the more I think about how good he is and how careful he's being, my lower face mask starts to soak through. We are both flushed and short of breath. Not like, Corona flushed and short of breath. Not like that, but like, horny flushed and short of breath. Have you been a good girl? He asks. Yes, sir. I've only been using 1 square of toilet paper. He is nearly unable to control himself at that point. Do you want to see what I'm going to do to you? Yes, I whisper. He takes a roll of toilet paper and he slides it onto his penis. Then he gives it a big spin and all the TP just starts flying up and going everywhere and landing in a big pile. I almost come as we both drop to our knees and spend the next 10 minutes just kind of carefully trying to roll the toilet paper back onto the tube. I mean, you guys, it's a pandemic. We mustn't waste it. It's incredibly erotic. I lean towards him again, but this time he can't fight it. This time we're breaking all the guidelines. Closer, closer, closer. He reaches up and he's just about to touch my face. Just then, Kenneth finally pops up with that goddamn slide. Now, Kenneth, now you pop up with that goddamn, of all the times for you to find that slide, Kenneth. Thanks a fuck ton, Kenneth. But the graphic is very important. It shows that there is an underground Chuck E. Cheese in Bowling Green where all the parents are letting their kids drink directly out of the chocolate fountain. What the fuck? Parents, Governor Bashir and I exchange a knowing glance. We both know our love affair will have to wait. We can't do this right now. We have to go and protect the people. We know in our hearts we are heroes first and lovers second. So we get called into action. We run outside, heading south, 6 feet apart, of course, as our silhouettes are cast against a giant moon.
Our final author is not to be confused with Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, because he is not that person. He is, however, Winston Churchill Part 2, no relation to the original, and is here to help us through this time of solitude the same way the original Churchill did during World War II. Here to comfort us with a speech, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and on either side, here is Sir Winston Churchill, Part 2.
Mr. Speaker, I come before you tonight in order to address the new crisis that is upon us. The enemy has surrounded us on all sides, and because of that, we have no choice to ride out this storm. If we are to outlive this tyranny, we must do it alone, in solitude, and avoid that, except wishes fresh air, until that one day we are to breathe freely without fear. We shall fight on the couch, away from the seas and oceans. We shall fight on our beds, so that we may once again have confidence in the air. We shall have our groceries delivered, whatever the cost may be. We shall avoid the beaches. You can still fly, but avoid the landing grounds. The fields are probably okay, but avoid the streets. Yes. We shall endeavor surrender until, in God's good time, that which was taken from us has been restored. In the meantime, Mr. Speaker, and as I have spoken before about the positives of sustenance during dark times, specifically in speaking of pancakes which are yummy in my tummy, tonight I speak in regards to another way to satisfy that, which is appetite. It is a simple mixture of bread, butter, and cheese, a grilled cheese, if you please. That's yummy to my knees. This added dairy and wheat of a lunchtime treat will have you screaming more, please, for that which is grilled cheese. And if you are one of those poor souls who are lactose intolerant, I urge you wholeheartedly to reconsider your position. If not, then that which is yummy to my knees, otherwise known as grilled cheese, may fall victim to the enemy. The enemy being the expiration date. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I ask that this nation cherish these lonely times with the help of that which is yummy to my knees, before we enter the new world with all its power and might. God save the Queen. So no, it was not a book. I just say things and then people publish them later.
Wow, that was certainly a thing. Well, loyal listeners, that will conclude this edition of An Evening with the Authors. I would like to thank all of the authors who took time out of their, well, I guess not so busy now schedules, but they took time to send us videos, and for that, I thank them. I thank the White Rabbit Cabaret for hosting us on the first Tuesday of every month, and once again urge you to please donate to the staff. But most of all, loyal listeners, I would like to thank you for spending an evening with the authors. I'm Dana Glass. Good night.